I'm Bukurosha Sinana from Albania. I'm a fashion designer and I'm here to represent the Recycled Jeans project.
Yeah, for example, this is the national road.
Okay.
We avoid it and we went through this rural. This is rural. So it's a good advantage that I see in comparison with other region is that in Shkodër, even the villages have high culture of cycling.
I'm from Subotica, Serbia, and the title of my project is Worm Farm.
My name is Jeta. I am from Kosovo. Inventa is a small startup company where handmade jewelries are being designed and made by recycled materials.
I'm Betsy from Macedonia, Master of Information of Science. My green idea is recycling of cotton textile waste.
My name is Veselin Šturanović. I come from Montenegro. We start with the fast fruit. Ironically, really, we want to close down the McDonald's and KFC and the others, so this is the first step.
What kind of permission do you need, or what kind of do you need to purchase the land, or how do you have access to the land and the space?
The whole key here is the whole year production.
But it just sort of explain, what's the plan and how the money would be used.
The point is to use natural stadia,
Projects we heard were very diverse. There were some that were agricultural based, some were more based in people's artistic creativity, some were based in a broader appreciation of a region and trying to bring tourists in a way that was sustainable. So there was a great diversity of initiatives. We were trying to understand the core of the idea, what was really the objective the person was trying to achieve. I think, at least in my case, I was looking for that combination of sort of a coherent business strategy located in a natural and social context that really made sense.
I did not expect to see such a creative group of people. I didn't have any particular expectations, but they definitely exceeded whatever I had. Each idea was interesting, diverse, practical, fun even, and I learned a lot about various aspects of environmental issues that I hadn't thought about before, certain interesting techniques. I learned about worms, aquaponics, fruit drying, and wearable art, and the kinds of things I don't normally get to think about.
Well, the national competition was pretty hard. There were, I think, 192 persons that enlisted. So when I was chosen to the first 10, I was really happy. And then when I won, I was even happier because I knew I had something good.
Can you make sure that all of the competitors, have handed over the scoring sheet?
Well, Haki Abazi, my colleague, has really led the development of our work in the Balkans since 2007. And he has a real conviction that in order to help bring the region together, it's really important to reinvigorate local economies and to really recognize the many assets, the many innovative ideas that really inhabit local communities here. And he really wanted to find a way to bring together the things that the Rockefeller Brothers Fund cares about. Local initiative, local participation, respect and care for the environment, but also recognizing that we can find ways to use natural resources in sustainable ways. And so I know he was thinking very much about some sort of mechanism to bring green ideas and to encourage some innovation and even a little bit of friendly competition to try to get people to get out there with their ideas and be sort of courageous.
And the first prize for this year's Green Ideas Forum goes to Igor Kojic, Circulating Food.
first prize was a really intriguing idea around drying, a dryer, a technology to dry fruit, and then to make it available to a wide range of farmers and fruit tree producers in a region.
Znači, mi smo se prijavili na konkurs da bi dobili sredstva da bi napravili protočnu sušaru.
I think it won because the technology itself was very environmentally friendly and adapted to the local context. It was something that could be shared among a lot of producers, so it wasn't necessarily just going to benefit one family, but a whole community.
Sušara u principu naša izgleda tako što postoji dva integralna dela. Jedan deo je, da kažem, proces pripreme sirovine, a drugi deo je sama sušara. Tako da smo mi u prvom trenutku imali novac samo za tu telo to sušare, a sad ćemo imati novac i za pripremu i za sve te sjajne ideje koje smo smislili sa softverima i tom automatskom kontrolom.
I think it was going to help the agricultural production add value. So instead of just selling the fruit, they explained very well how drying the fruit and processing it to another level would enable all of the farmers to earn more and be able to stay on their farms. So I think he just hit many of the different criteria of a green idea.
Ja nastupam ispred tima od 6 ljudi koji je napravio tehničku dokumentaciju i smislio ideju za protočnu inovativnu sušaru.
But what I really like is this whole business approach, not to make a lot of money selling this kiln, but give it to as many people as possible and then just take a small fee.
Pa kao što rekao, nisam očekivao uopšte, naročito kada je kolega Stevan iz Srbije dobio drugu nagradu, onda sam bio potpuno uveren da je nemoguće da Srbija dobije još jednu nagradu, tako da su mi emocije već bile potpuno splasle i na neki način sam čekao da vidim ko će od ovih drugih genijalnih ideja dobiti. U trenutku kad sam čuo svoje ime, prvom trenutku sam bio potpuno zbunjen, a prvi sledeći osjećaj mi je u stvari bio da sam jako ponosan što sam u stvari učesnik celog ovog takmičenja, jer sam zaista shvatio da nijedna od karakteristika ili osobina o kojima smo svi mi koji smo došli ovde vjerojatno brinuli, koje su potpuno nevezane za takmičenje o kome govorimo, u stvari bila nebitna živiju. I to je zaista fenomenalan osjećaj kad shvatite da postoje kriterijumi, da postoje jasna, transparentna selekcija, da niko od žirija neće gledati šta se desilo prošle ili pretprošle godine, da neće gledati odakle ste došli, da neće gledati koje ste boje kože ili nacionalnosti, nego će zaista bodovati ideju.
The second place, or the second rated winner of this year's Green Ideas is the project Worm Farm in Stevan.
The idea of a worm farm is something that was really something special.
When I reach the end, you will see that the worms are only a means to an end, and that my project has a deeper environmental, social, and economic purpose.
Really intriguing project, Worm Farm, which I was really excited to learn about because I had a vision of little worm farmers or something.
The things that I want to do is first educate people and show them how they can grow healthy food using worm compost and not use chemical fertilizers or pesticides or whatever.
So this is one where I think one of the most intriguing ideas or aspects of the idea is that it's very simple. It doesn't seem to take a lot to encourage worms to procreate. And then what you're really trying to do is collect what he calls the worm castings, a very delicate term for what worms produce, and replace something that is now imported. And I think that's also something that was especially compelling about that project. It's a fertilizer source that's natural and it's locally made rather than imported from another country where it's more expensive.
We want to build a greenhouse that will use sustainable principles like the sun to keep it essentially cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And if we can get a balanced climate inside the greenhouse, then our worms can produce through the winter and through all of the year, which can enlarge our profit. Social aspect of my project is to train and eventually employ people with disabilities. My main focus is on people, more young people with Down syndrome. In Serbia, it's very hard for healthy people to find jobs, and let alone people with disabilities.
You felt the passion of the competitor, and you saw that he wanted to really make a change and especially promote organic farming and do it in a way that really helped.
Actually, I had a big problem coming here because my son is suffering from a rare disease. He's very, very sick, and it's a fatal disease. So actually, I could lose him any day, and it was very hard for me to come here. And actually, it was like I was trying to decide whether to come or not because it's so very far and I cannot go home at any moment. But I'm glad because he was okay, and this has been a great experience. So, yeah.
The third place, or prize for this year Philanthropy Green Ideas Forum, goes to Castle to Castle.
Third prize is this great project from Albania, which is creating a bike routes for really trying to encourage locals as much as incoming tourists, but also locals to get out on their bikes and get to know their communities and explore the heritage, the sort of medieval heritage of Albania.
The idea is to create a cycling tour from Rozafa Castle to Drisht Castle. The aim is to have economical development in this area. These last 20 years, it's a shrinking area. People are abandoning it. And secondly, to raise awareness about natural and cultural heritage. And third, as you know, in Shkodër, we have a champion cycling city with 29%, but the inhabitants are perceiving it only as a transport mean in everyday life and not at all as an asset for recreational tourism. And fourth, last but not least, is to have a full package for Shkodër region about cycling tour and to implement it in Aerovelo project.
It was really a kind of a regional project. And it was something where you that tried to promote this region to the outside. So the whole demarcation of biking paths, like biking tourism promotion.
Now we have 12 bicycles, and we hope to increase it till 30.
But what was really striking me here was one of the answers to our question. It was that the lady that once said, "Oh no, it's not only about tourism from foreigners, but it's just to get people out of the cafes and activate them and let them experience that their neighborhood is a beautiful countryside."
Shkodër is my hometown, and since I was a child, my father, for example, was doing by himself a small bike, and so my father was finding elements of bicycles and making them handmade by himself and by his friends as well. And so since I was about 5 years old, I was cycling. And now that I am working on it, on this approach, for me it gives the impression that I am a child. I am continuing to be a child.
My name is Jeta. I am from Kosovo and I am 18 years old. In Venta was born since I was a little girl because when I was a little girl I was obsessed with butterflies. And one day I catch some butterflies and I raise them like my pets.
The business idea of selling jewelry in an online store can really work. I think that in general there were skepticism in terms of how that project fits within the guidelines of the frameworks of philanthropy for green ideas, but I love that idea. On the other hand, I know she will be successful. And so, I hope that she knows that regardless of whatever happened, that she will be successful. She already is at 17 or 18 and still in high school. And so that made impression on me, definitely.
I'm Betsy Dimitrijev from Macedonia, Master of Information of Science. My green idea is recycling of cotton textile waste into ecologically insulating material.
Well, I thought it was incredibly smart, the woman from Macedonia, who talked about the textile base of the economy and the huge amount of waste, textile waste, that goes into landfills. And then she'd really thought about it and thought about the whole development of green buildings as something that's also really important, to create buildings that are well insulated. And her really incredible idea was how to take textile waste and create an insulation that can be a green insulation to replace asbestos. Now that's a great idea. It's a complicated idea, and I think maybe the reason it didn't become one of the final winners is because I think it needed some more research around regulations for building materials and such. But what a great idea. I mean, it really stuck with me.
Hello, I'm Eltjana from Albania. I'm a fashion designer and I'm here to represent the Recycled Jeans project. Situata aktuale në Shqipëri është që shqiptarët përdorin shumë qese plastike, që është një element shumë dëmtues për mjedisin.
So one woman said, you know, the average person in Kosovo uses 8 to 10 plastic bags a day. Now you talk about how do I separate what's going on here from my region? Well, that hit home, because in the Middle East we use a lot of plastic bags. And she said, people also use a lot of jeans. So what if I take the old jeans and make proper shopping bags out of them and people can use them instead of plastic bags? Well, I thought that was the most simple, elegant idea. She was young. She tried to start her presentation in English. She got stuck. She was embarrassed. She kept going in Albanian. Everybody was waiting for her, but happily, because she was, you know, so passionate. That's why she couldn't continue in English. And I thought, such a young person, you know, how intimidating it must be to give your presentation in English, but such a clear and focused idea. And she gave us each a bag, you know, and they were cute. And I thought, this is a viable business idea. It targets a very specific problem that is so widespread we don't even notice it. And she was the only one who said, as part of her campaign to get people to buy her bags, part of that campaign would involve explaining the environmental problem and pressing for legislation to, you know, ban or discourage the use of plastic bags. And I think she was the only one who proposed legislative change, which I found even more interesting because it was thinking on multi-layer.
Yep. 1, 2, 3.
Ipak mi je dominantan osjećaj ostao to da sa jako malo truda svet može biti mnogo bolje mjesto za život.
It's, I think there's a certain willingness to be open to crazy ideas that seem crazy, but actually are very meaningful. That I think here there's still kind of a frontier philanthropic spirit here. I don't know how else to say it.
I mean, without wanting to sound cliche, it is very refreshing to see people from, you know, various countries of the former Yugoslavia and other Balkan regions coming together to talk about things that really have nothing to do with the conflict, with you know, the history of conflicts in this region. I think it's not a surprise that when people are told to come together to think of how to be creative and produce things together, then that becomes a more important mission than falling back on the patterns of conflict.